Coming to you from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, this is The Gailey Show and streaming right now on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@TheGailey Show. I'm your host, John Parker. Joining me in studio, our executive producer, Jim Pounds.
Hey, all.
It is Friday, which means culture and entertainment. So on the show today, Jim and I have some film and TV entertainment for you in the second half of the show. But up first, Children's Theater Company's production of Disney's Frozen, the Broadway musical, opens April 15th here in the Twin Cities. Joining us from the show is Susan Jennings. Tyler made her professional acting debut at Children's Theater Company in Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, followed by Milo Imagines the World. They have performed with several organizations, including Dance Theater of Harlem, Atlanta Symphony Orchestra, Spelman College Glee Club. Tyler, welcome to The Gailey Show.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi.
All right. So Disney's Frozen, both iconic film, iconic Broadway musical. Tell us about the show and your role.
Okay, so the show is quite literally something that's been stuck in my head since 2013. There's just something about Idina Menzel singing that's just like a constant memory for me.
Yes.
Very formative in my teen years. Yeah, it's a story about finding your true self, about accepting who you are, about sisterly love, which I think is so sweet. And I am a part of the ensemble, which means that it's my job to keep the story alive. So,
now, what does that mean, keeping the story alive?
So I play a myriad of different parts, whether that be a townsperson, a court person, a maid, a hidden folk, all of these different things. And so I think we have about like 20 people in our cast. And so being a part of the ensemble and like playing these different tracks means that I have to make the world seem like it's more than just 20 of us. And it's an entire bustling town filled with individuals and lives.
You mentioned The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, and John and I had seen that at Children's Theater, and I'm amazed exactly what you're saying, that a limited number of people, however many it is, makes it look like there's 100 people on the stage. And I still don't know how Children's Theater manages to do that. You know, when you actually look at the program and you go, oh, there's only like 7 adults. How can that possibly be true? But so how many, you just play like you say, it's a track, so you just go from one to the next to the next to the next. Is the show backstage as interesting as the show on the stage?
Oh yeah, I don't even know how many quick changes I'm racking up at this point. It's just like, okay, whoosh,
right.
Whoosh.
I always marvel. I never performed at Children's, but I did do some acting in town, and I always thought that particular place, because of all those dynamics, the production values being what they are, the complexity of each track, that it would be half of the effort is just knowing what's next or learning. You know, I try to think of what the production stuff must be like, and what, you know, your final production runs are before opening. It must be a lot to learn very quickly.
I'd say so, yeah. We're fortunate though in this production that we have 6 weeks to like try and get everything in a good place before we actually open up, which is so good.
That's actually a lot of time. That's
it is
a reasonable, sane amount of time.
I know, you don't always get that, especially in the industry.
Well, the world is so interesting of Frozen that I imagine it must be really exciting to be able to create all of those different settings and world building within the ensemble.
Absolutely, yeah. And our director, Tiffany Nicole Green, she's been very interested in like really embracing the Scandinavian roots of Frozen. So like we've been looking at like the correct pronunciations to like some of the songs so that we can like stay true to like its origins, and the costuming is like very specific to like villages and different like Scandinavian areas. So that's definitely been really cool, bringing like this feeling of realism to the
Mhm.
story and trying to like make it feel like it's about real people and not
Mhm.
just two Disney characters off the world.
Right.
So
I'm
how's your
gonna.
Norwegian now?
I'm still working on it. I'm still working on
Because I
it.
saw in the audience guide there's Norwegian vocabulary in there,
Pronunciation,
and I
yeah,
love that.
yeah. I think there's something amazing about going into it in that much depth, because from an audience perspective, you think children's theater, well, that's easy, and it's not ever. I did some things at stages at a much lower level than you're talking about. It's still not easy, and at your level, at an internationally renowned theater, that's got to be a complexity that none of us can really appreciate. But let's think about this from an audience member's perspective. So the film comes out, it's wildly crazy popular. The Broadway musical comes out in 2018, and let's say somebody has seen the touring production, which toured for several years. Are there things that will be different, that will be new in this production because it's children's theater company and all of that?
I think so. I think so for sure. Our take on what the set will look like, what some of the character relationships are going to look like. Also, the fact that like half of our ensemble is made of high school students, which I think is super cool.
Very
Oh,
Um,
cool.
wow.
so yeah, honestly, I think it'll be a very fresh and like new take on Frozen, and being able to connect to those young people by seeing like actual young people on stage doing the things.
Hmm.
I think it'll be cool for
Hmm.
sure.
I love that because I think, well, God bless, touring companies and all of that, but they don't usually have the heft the Children's Theater Company does in terms of production values, and I'll say imagination, because they're doing something practical, that they can
Yeah.
move around to Houston and Fargo and all of that. And this is something that sits here for 9 weeks. You have a 9-week run, which when I did the calculation at an average of 9 shows a week, that's like 80 performances. That is a long climb.
That's a marathon.
That's a marathon. But it also gives you the chance to explore it fully. Would you agree with that? I mean, do you like long runs, or is this daunting in a way?
I know, I agree wholeheartedly. It's kind of like you get a chance to revamp the show like midway through, which is so fun.
Right.
And it's like I don't know, everything is different. Every night is different, and honestly, long runs, I think they're fun. So for Grinch, I think we had like 84
Yeah.
performances. I
Wow.
cannot say that any singular show was the same. It was
Right.
just new every single night. And so I'm looking forward to that for like our Frozen run. I'm very excited.
Is there ever a time when the company would do 3 shows in a day, or is that not? And
Oh,
so
wow.
is it ever more than two?
As far as I know, it's only gonna be two. I feel
Right.
three. Personally, for myself, I would have to be like, guys, let's rethink this schedule right here. I don't know about this one, but especially since the show is so long, I think it's at about 2 hours 15 minutes. So
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I think two shows in the day is probably
Yeah.
going to be the max. Especially on like our back-to-back days, so Saturday and Sunday, we
Yeah.
have back-to-back shows. So we'll have one maybe like say at 2, and then we'll get about an hour in between,
Hmm.
30 minutes to relax and like eat food and get
Right.
mentally prepared again.
Right.
And then 30 minutes to get back into costume and mic and,
Yep.
get re-ready. And then we have another show at 5. So it's very
Wow.
like quick turnaround.
The audiences are so special at Children's because they're always so engaged with the performances, which I know you know, having been in Milo and Dr. Seuss's Grinch. What are you looking forward to for the audiences to see in Frozen this time around? What do you think is going to be the most magical for them?
Oh my gosh. So for me, my favorite part of performing at Children's is the student matinees and seeing all their faces when they see all the cool stuff. So for example, in Milo, I had the wonderful opportunity to play mom in ensemble. And part of mom ensemble, as we like to call her, her job was to come out at the top of the show in this gigantic pink dinosaur puppet. And seeing the kids just go, oh my God, there's a dino! Across the stage, it made me so happy. In that same vein, I think when they see Sven, our reindeer puppet, I think they're gonna go crazy because it's a full-size reindeer puppet. He walks,
Wow.
he moves his head, all of it. I'm
Wow.
so excited.
Wow. So I imagine there's a big crew. I don't really know how I should really look at the program and look that up, but I feel like the crew is always sometimes bigger than the cast, but it seems like the crew is either enormous or they're just brilliant at doing it with a few people. What's the truth about that?
Honestly, I would say at Children's, it's definitely we just have some really talented crew. Oh my gosh. Our crew, heart and soul of the theater. They have
Yep.
saved me a mountain of times from running into stuff, getting hit by things. Thank you.
Do you ever have to do, I don't know this, do you ever have to do scenery stuff or move things around, or do you just walk off the stage and it all magically happens?
Unless I myself am handling props, I don't do anything, which is so fantastic because
Yeah,
that's so much pressure. Oh my
right.
god. And our fantastic crew, they're really good and timely about being like, okay, and now it's boom, next thing, and then all of a
Right.
sudden you're like, whoa, when did they even do that? That's crazy.
Well, we are coming up on a break, short break that we have to take here. We are including links in today's show notes and the episode description on our website with how you can get tickets to Children Theater Company's production of Disney's Frozen, the Broadway musical. I want to talk a little bit about the queer themes of the show when we come back after this break. So stay tuned. More with Tyler Susan Jennings on the flip side. Sorry, I have to let that silence happen. They're going to put music in there. Brett or Patrick, if you're listening to this, so we're just going to, instead of creating another file, we're just going to kind of keep going here and do the B block. All right. So if you both are ready, we'll start the recording for that. Again, there'll be that sort of 10-second space off the top so that they can add all of the music in and do all that fun stuff in production. All right, here we go. Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I'm John Parker, executive producer Jim Pounds. With me here in the virtual studio, we're talking with Tyler Susan Jennings, who is part of Children Theater Company's Disney's Frozen, the Broadway musical, which opens April 15th. Tyler, okay, so Frozen is considered one of Disney's queer slash not queer films with lots of debate on the internet. What is undeniable, though, is that there are a lot of themes in the show that will resonate with LGBTQ audience members, really of all ages. So talk to us about what were themes in the show that resonated with you?
Oh wow. Obviously Elsa and just like finding herself, accepting who she is, and living in her truth as just a woman. I definitely think that that resonated with me. I love the fact that she does not have any sort of romance whatsoever, which is like unheard of for a
Disney, yeah.
you woman protagonist. I was like, yeah, come on, self-love and acceptance. That's awesome. Like and I definitely think especially the movie coming out when I want to say I was like a freshman in high school. Um Hearing Let It Go for the first time was definitely something healing for me. I was like, oh wow, wow, I don't have to hide myself, change myself, make myself small just for people to accept who I am. I can just exist and it's totally fine and I can be happy and be real. And I think that that theme still exists in the musical and especially in the version that we are doing at Children's Theater Company, really capitalizing on like what it means to be human and to try and accept the parts of yourself that make you uncomfortable and make others uncomfortable, and like how do you push through that in spite of to find joy and happiness. So yes.
That's great. I talk about boy, do we need that sentiment right about now.
Mhm.
That's fantastic. I didn't ask you this question, Charlie. Where are you from originally? Are you from this part of the world or from elsewhere?
No, no, no. I'm still getting used to this Minnesota cold. Oh my God. I came from Atlanta,
From
Georgia.
Atlanta. Okay.
So, oh goodness, I was still so shocked when they're like, "Yeah, it's gonna be snow until April," and I'm like, "No, it's not." And it's
Mhm.
March, and it is in fact still snowing. So,
So you were getting a Scandinavian cultural whatever flash just by being here, right?
oh, absolutely. I'm loving the fact that it is still chilly and snowy while we're doing Frozen, and then
Mhm.
hopefully it'll be beautiful and sunny by the end of it and be like, "Oh, look, everything
Knock on
comes
wood.
Yeah.
together." Oh, oh,
By June 15th, there's a good chance of that,
okay.
hopefully.
Thank goodness. Yes.
Yeah.
I
That's
love
right.
that they're running. That seems, and I don't know, I haven't studied it, but it seems like, well, they're going past the school year, and
Yes.
oftentimes that's an important feeder for your matinees and all that stuff. So I wonder if the audience will change as we're going from the early May schools to, all the way to June 15th. It's like something a family could do as a family thing, right? That
Mhm.
could be the appeal of it. Even people on vacation visiting here from other places. Is that does the timing of the performances seem to reflect that at all? I mean,
Oh
is it a
yeah.
mix of daytime and evenings, of course?
For sure. Yeah, definitely during the evenings it's a lot more like family type outing things, which is it's beautiful to see. I love seeing parents bringing their children to experience art and culture for the first time. I think that's so wonderful.
Mhm.
Um and then during the day it's a lot of like schools and even like homeschool children will come and they'll like see the show. And I think definitely as the school year ends, we're gonna end up seeing a lot more families doing their daytime outings, which
Mhm.
will be great. It'll be nice. So, yeah.
And are
I'm
your
curious.
evening? Oh, I'm sorry, I can't stop talking, John. I don't know what my problem is today. Are your evening shows? Did you say they're at 5 o'clock? Did I miss that, or is it a 7 o'clock ish start?
I believe that on Sunday it will be either at 5 or 6,
Okay,
depending on um when the first show starts. And then on
I see.
Saturdays and Fridays, I believe our evening shows are at 7.
That's 7. Okay, okay, John. I'll be quiet now. You're the
Oh, no.
host. You go ahead.
No, I was going to ask. So we're all of different generations here on the in this conversation, and Tyler, I'm curious. As you're beginning your career, both at Children's and professionally speaking, and as a queer artist, what are you hoping to see more of in the theater world as you're exploring it and taking on this new pathway?
I would love to see more of queerness just being an everyday part of what a character is.
Mhm.
Um, I know right now, especially in theater, there are a lot of like token queer characters or like token queer shows, but I would love to just have a show where like yeah, the character has I don't know. They have a girlfriend, they have a boyfriend, they have multiple partners, and it just is, and they reference it like one time. You see them go, "Hi, I'm leaving for work." Kiss them goodbye, and then it's just like, oh, okay, cool. Like, you know, it's just a part of life because I mean, it is like as a queer person, at least for myself, like that's not the thing that defines me. It is just like one part of the whole that makes me.
Mhm.
And so I would just like to see my normal life reflected in art.
That's it. That's it right there, and I think that's the special thing about your generation now emerging and becoming artists is because your experience of queer life is so radically different, than mine, than Jim's, because I think for Jim and I, just having anything anything, you know what I mean? And I think even for, like, the late Xers and early millennials, which is where I'm, occupying as a generational landscape, we just wanted something named, you know what I mean? Like we want something explicit and, dedicated, and what I love about your generation coming up there is it's like, this just needs to be part of the fabric of everyday life, and it's so exciting, to have you, being an artist both at we're so lucky to have you at Children's Theater Company, and I know that you're gonna have a really bright and amazing career. If folks wanna connect with you, how do they do that?
Oh my gosh, that is so kind. Thank you. So I am on Instagram. Woo, yay. And that's so crazy. My Instagram handle it escapes me at this moment in time, but I want to say that it is in fact my last name, Jennings, JENNINGS and then an underscore, I think.
Well,
Otherwise.
we can include links to it in the show notes and on our website, which we also have. You can get a link to how you can buy tickets, to go see the show. Quick break here. When we come back, we're going to have some new film and TV stuff for you to check out. You're listening to The Gaily Show on AM 950. There we go. Okie dokie. Tyler, this was so lovely. Thank you
Thank you.
for the time today. I'm going to click end recording. Please don't